Is it possible to heal from bipolar disorder? This is a massive question that is so important for you to address. And I just want to say, as I ask you this question, all of the mess that's in your head is going to answer this before you even get a chance to investigate. So I'd ask you just to hold your emotional reactions before you have an emotional reaction going, no, it's not, or yes, it is, or whatever it is. Like, just hold and investigate, because your freedom may be on the other side of this very video. I am waiting for my son who is in rehearsal, and I thought it'd be a good time to just address a very important question that you are probably having. Is it even possible to heal? If you ask me, of course, I'm going to say yes, it is absolutely possible. And the reason I'm 100% confident it's possible is because I've done just that. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder years ago, and I understand what it looks like to be told over and over again by your psychiatrist, by your counselor, by every physician that comes in contact with you, it's not possible to heal. I remember being in the psychiatrist's office and declaring that I wanted to get off meds, that I want to know how to heal. I don't want to take meds for the rest of my life. And they told me I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's why they gave me the disorder in the first place. Not that kind of crazy. They basically told me there's no way, it's not possible for you to heal, to just forget it. Yet here I am. Here I am, completely healed. And right there, so again, you're searching through Facebook or YouTube, and for whatever reason, this video has popped up for you saying it's possible to heal. Immediately, whatever your paradigm is, and it's probably steeped in BigPharma. For most of us, our paradigm, the way we believe, is steeped in BigPharma. Like, we like to think it was other things, but when it gets down to it, the things that we believe about our body and our health is all coming from BigPharma. It is the money machine. They've been working hard to indoctrinate us in school and out of school, and every ad. Like, we have this culture that really believes in medicine, that really believes in doctors. And it's really interesting because there are certain groups of people, especially those dealing with mental illness, where the medical system has failed them. And I was one of them. I was definitely one of those where I was told, take my meds, take my counseling, go to counseling year after year. And yet, here's the thing, relapse kept happening. And so I sought to find a better answer. And this was a question I had as well. I'm like, is healing even possible? And the medical system and all my doctors were telling me, no, absolutely not. But what was interesting at that point in my life was I had already dealt with a number of things that were quote incurable. There was a number of physical health problems that I had that was not supposed to go away. There's supposed to be things that once you have those things, you always have those things. There's nothing you can do but take your meds and manage those conditions. I had already defeated a number of quote incurable diseases. And so that got me thinking, I'm like, healing's got to be possible. And I coupled that with my faith to know, I'm going to look at the Bible and say, what does God have to say about this, right? Not my opinion on whether or not I should be able to heal, not man's opinion coming from BigPharma and the medical dogma of you can't heal, not what they have to say, but what does the Bible actually have to say? And so I started digging, going, God, what is it that you have to say about my healing? And you know what? I couldn't find one exception to the rule. I couldn't find one shred of evidence that said, I am willing to heal of everything except for bipolar disorder. Like, that's not in there. That's not in there. And in fact, there isn't any exceptions to healing. And so we have a lot of evidence in the Bible, which I'll be glad to talk about in a moment, about healing being possible. And again, I've got my doctors over here saying it's not possible. And so at some point I went, okay, I believe it really is possible. Now I had to shift into the how. So let's talk about some of my discoveries that helped me to pursue healing, because you really have to start from that. That's the starting place. So you have to believe that healing is possible, because if you don't believe that healing is even possible, then you don't do anything further. Like, if you saw the question, is healing possible? And you're like, no, absolutely not. Like, you're not even going to click on a video like this. And sometimes I get those people that come into my sphere just to leave a nasty comment, Yeah, but anyway, God bless. I am not here to convince people that healing is possible. I'm here to help those who are searching and seeking healing. Like those people that desire healing. Those are the people that I'm calling to say, yes, it is possible for you. And so again, I don't want you to take my opinion on it. Just take a look at what the Bible has to say. And the first thing to notice is that God in his names, so God has a number of names: Jehovah Shalom, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Jireh, and Jehovah Rapha. There's others, okay? Study those. But one of them is Jehovah Rapha, meaning the God that heals. And so in his own name, God declares about himself that he is a healer. Then that healing came even further with Jesus Christ. And actually, if you really dig into Bible study, which I won't do at this time, but if you go back to the way that God originally created man, he created Adam and Eve in perfection. They were without disease. They were without disorder until they fell. And that's actually really interesting. If you do have time to study it, it's absolutely fascinating. Like I was recently taking in a study of a doctor who his actual field is internal medicine. And he studied quite a bit about this, but he comes from a biblical worldview, not a secular worldview. And so he's looking at it, and basically he believes that Adam and Eve were created perfectly, which I completely believe. Like, why would God create something that was flawed? So absolutely perfect. So the DNA looked a little bit different. But when Adam and Eve ingested the apple, that apple was actually toxic to them. It was poison, and it corrupted their DNA, and thus the curse of aging began. And so then you started to see diseases and different things start to replicate. But all in all, God has designed the body to heal. God has designed the body with wholeness in mind, and it is God's intention and will for you to be whole and as healthy as possible so that you can do the things that God has called you to do. Like, there's no purpose in you being sick all the time, whether that's emotionally or physically. There's no purpose in that. And so God wants healing. But where I feel that the church has really missed it is usually they will say, okay, yes, healing is possible. But then the recommendation is to simply to pray and to read your Bible more and nothing else. And here's where I feel that the church has really made a mess of things. And I have people come to me all the time with just hurt and sorrow because they feel the same way that I had felt, which was we received this dogma of if you just had greater faith, like if you just pray harder, if your faith is intact, then you wouldn't be having these challenges. You wouldn't be dealing with depression. You wouldn't be dealing with bipolar disorder. You wouldn't be having anxiety if you just learned how to cast your cares on Jesus. But it's so much larger than that. If we take an example, when someone is sick, so just cold, sinus crud, right? Got all the nasties up in here. When somebody is sick with a sinus crud, we will pray for them, right? They'll, if you have sinus crud, you're praying for healing. And sometimes you'll reach out to people, hey, pray for me. If you're really feeling crummy, you might have somebody come and pray for you, anoint you with oil. But then we don't just leave it there, right? We don't just go, oh, hope, pray you get better, and that's it. What do? We actually put into motions things that help you get better. So you'll be pumping up the vitamin C. You'll be drinking herbal teas. You'll be getting rest, right? You'll be doing a number of things to help your body fight off the infection, to fight off the sickness. And so your body is designed to heal. And when we have a cold, we naturally put things around the person who's sick to help their body do the thing, right? But for some reason with mental illness, we're like, oh, just pray. And that's it. And then we stop. Or the other error that churches go to is they just push them back towards the medical community. Well, we don't really know what to do with that. Go see your doctor, and the doctor does not know how to help you heal from bipolar disorder. In fact, the doctor, physicians, psychiatrists believe that you will be broken for the rest of your life, that you are broken. I mean, that they just start there. Okay. And that you will always have bipolar disorder. Like once you have bipolar disorder, you will always have bipolar disorder. And so if you answer this question, is it possible to heal, of the dogma of BigPharma and medical system, they're going to say, no, absolutely not. They basically believe that you can, with medication, go into remission for a season, but that you should expect relapse to be coming again. Like that's just the expectation. Very interesting. And it's a very, very sad way to live, but it's not true. It's absolutely not true. And Big Pharma has big money in the fact of keeping you locked in. They want you to continue to take your medications. The counselor wants you to have to keep showing up year after year after year after year. Gee, we can't figure out why you can't seem to resolve this trauma. Let's talk about it some more. It's like, it's never going to work if we don't get to the root of the issue. Very simply, coming back to the Bible, we look at the Bible in 1 Thessalonians 5:23, and we see that we're body, mind, and spirit. And all throughout the Bible, you see instructions for how to live our life, including how to be well emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And if we follow those instructions, we are able to heal. And when you heal, then all the symptoms go away. And when the symptoms go away, you no longer need the medication. And as you have healed and the medication is no longer there, then you should be symptom free, right? Because we know a whole lot of people that just get off their meds. They're like, I feel great. They get off their meds and it's bad. It's really bad. So you got to heal first. The 3 steps that I put into place for our coaching clients is this. It's first is to heal. Second is to taper. So taper off medications under the supervision of your medical provider. And the third is to impact the lives of others. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about helping others overcome bipolar disorder, is because those that typically receive this label are exceptionally creative, exceptionally passionate about things like speaking and writing and music and arts, and actually impacting the lives of others. Like, they're the ones that give us a microphone and we're on the stage, right? That's their natural God-given talent and ability. But what has got out of balance is emotions start ruling things, and there's brain chemistry that's a mess and all kinds of problems. So it's like, how do we heal that? And then allow your beautiful other natural God-given talents to shine so that you can then impact the lives of others. So that's what I'm all about. There is a process to healing. And so if you want to know more about that process, so if you're interested and you're like, okay, great, I'm like, I want to hope, I want to believe that there's something better for me, then what I'm going to point you to is our masterclass. And if you look in the description, you'll find the link to that masterclass, and I'll walk you through the exact steps that I used for healing and how you can get on your own healing journey. I have 2 more videos for you here. It all really starts with the idea of understanding, yes, it is possible, and then fighting for that.